And we are live. Yes, this is working. Technology. This is the Low Post Podcast, Week 4 preview, Week 3 recap. It's the holiday season. I have no idea what day it is. I'm all discombobulated. Tyler Krusz here with Brian Heston. Brian, how we doing? How was your Christmas?
Good. I'm wearing my werewolves warm-up that
I love those warm-ups.
Joey hooked us up with.
I want to play so bad just to get one. Those look awesome. But
I mean,
Joey.
You can get a werewolves one if you want, rep the squad.
I don't know what number I'd get.
Yeah.
I'd figure it out. 00 something or oh no, that's Gino, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
I figured out.
Figure out.
But Joey hooked it up with the merch. I like the Build Your Legacy, the crew neck.
You got one of those too. Those are nice.
Yeah. I got one of those and then I got the sweatshirt. But merch aside, we had a couple interesting week 3 games, a couple not interesting week 3 games. I kind of want to start with the finals rematch, the Boom Shakalaka Lob City that I didn't expect to be close at all. I don't think you did either, but it was an 8-point game at the half.
Yeah, I mean, credit Boom. I think it's really hard to see where this team will end up, but obviously they'll be in the top half of the league. They still have a solid core of players, and I mean, obviously being a close game with Lob at halftime is better than most teams do. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised at the end result that Lob wins by let me see, about 40.
Yeah. And that was actually, like, I was looking at the stats throughout all the games for Lob, and that was their closest margin of victory.
Wow.
This season. It was 39 points against Boom Shakalaka. But yeah, like you said, there's no doubt that Boom is going to end up in the top half of the league. We just have no idea where.
Yeah.
And I really like how Lucas Martin is kind of like off his leash this year.
Yeah.
We're going to see him for like 16, 20 shots a game.
Definitely an interesting play style for him that we haven't seen in a while. So it's definitely good to see. But yeah, I mean, he struggled a little bit. It looks like I wasn't able to watch the game. I was on the other court. He was 3 for 12 from 3. I know we mentioned on the podcast before, he said that he would probably have to show
hit like 12-3.
Yeah. He'd probably have to shoot it really well, and obviously that wasn't the case. So with that being said, the result isn't surprising.
And on Lob City's side, they had a breakout performer that really, when they have breakout performers, we all just kind of shrug our shoulders because everybody scores about 20-something. But it's kind of interesting how they can just add and rotate guys throughout the years and have each guy come up with like a 20-something point game. You had Brad Van Fetchman last year.
Yeah.
You had Mark Testa the year before. Justin Tabas now for 28 points. He led the game, and he had 8 threes too.
Mm-hmm. And I think that was his first game ever in Legacy Leagues. I don't think I've seen him play before. So to shoot 8 for 14 from 3, that's better than most people. Better than
especially on the low rim for your first game.
Yeah, so it's just like, of course, Lob City is able to find someone who can just play to their play style and just succeed with playing with.
They must have like a genius general manager behind it, because every guy they pick up just fits their team so well. And like you said, of course they find someone that just comes in and shoots Cody Crawford numbers from 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think it's just going to be one of those seasons for them. I mean, Boom was the second ranked team heading into that week, and they blew them out by 39.
Yeah, Lob's clearly separating themselves from the pack by winning games against these known teams like Boom by 30.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the team right now that still I want to see play Boom and play Lob would be the Halfway Crooks. I think they're knocking on that door of the second best team in the league. So I'm really interested to see how that plays out. I don't know what week they play, but
I'm looking right now, and it looks like they're playing in week 5. So 2 weeks after we come back.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be the matchup to look at.
I think that's going to be the best game of the season, really, because, I mean, there are going to be other close games between other teams, but to have any kind of close game with Lob City is just like everybody who pays attention to Legacy Leagues will just swarm in and be like, oh, my God, are these guys going to lose? Are these guys going to lose?
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I think, yeah, like you said, just because of not only Halfway's size, but the quality of their big men, like Dylan Lincoln, John Sline, 2 of the better big men in the league, I would say. And on the same team, that's just dominant.
What's amazing about looking at the stats right now, Lob City hit 21 threes against Boom. I don't think anyone's ever hit 21 threes in Legacy Leagues.
In a
As a
game?
team, yeah, as a team, I don't think that might be a team record. 21 threes made as a team.
Yeah, it could be. I'm thinking the only other game I'm thinking is the time that Cody hit 14.
Yeah,
And like that's just like one player had 14 threes. That just means the rest of the team had to hit 7.
yeah.
Greg,
Still,
Victor. I
21
mean,
threes is impressive. And if
yeah,
Lob, it's tough to beat Lob when they are shooting at that rate, 21
it's tough to
46.
beat Lob, period.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
they can make 15 threes, they can make 10 threes. It's tough to beat them.
Mm-hmm.
They're that good of a team.
Yeah, and I'm looking
So,
at the stats too. Belleville looked like he had an off night, 1 for 11 from 3. I mean, when Belleville and Lucas combined for 4 for 23 from 3, it's going to be tough for Boom to win. So I don't think
yeah.
Boom played their best game, but it looks like Lob definitely played one of their best games so far.
And I think all of Lucas's threes were in the first half.
Yeah.
And I remember 2 of them were back to back.
Hmm.
So it's just like after the second half, Boom just Lob just came out and completely dominated like they always do against everyone that they've played this year. Good luck next week, by the way, or not
Yeah.
next week. Whenever
Yeah,
you guys play them.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. We're playing Lob.
So and then moving on, we'll talk about. You want to talk about your game, Swish Kebabs?
Yeah, we'll talk about
Werewolves.
that.
Swish. I was really impressed with those 4 that showed up. I mean, 3
Cody Platt,
doubles.
yeah, he had 33 against us, unfortunately.
I mean, yeah, 33. That Cody had a heck of a game, and 27 field goal attempts. That's just a result of having only 4 players,
yeah, exactly.
but 3 of them had double doubles. So that everyone's active, and all 4 of them were at it, just grinding away. I'm showing the same amount of effort. It's like socialism on the basketball court. Everybody does their share. Everybody comes out with the win, and almost everybody comes out with a double double.
Yeah, and I mean, on our end, it looked like, I mean, obviously me, Gino, and Dave, none of us had an exceptional game. We both shot below 40%, and I think had one of us had a 50% game from the field, we probably would have won that game.
Oh yeah, it's a 3-possession game.
Yeah, and I think the problem with us is that, well, not the problem with us, was the problem with that game was that when you have an advantage like we did in numbers, just having 7 guys against 4, we had that advantage. You want to get out and have the lead early, and we never had the lead early on. So I feel like if we had the lead in the beginning, it's a lot easier to maintain a lead than to try and come back from one.
Yeah.
So if Swish had 4 guys, and they're trying to come back the entire game. Eventually, they're going to run out of gas, and we put on these runs that we had in the second half, and that would have put them out of the game. Whereas we were down, and we put those runs on, and it just got us back into the game. So that was the problem with that game for us, was that they came out and they hit like a ton of tough shots. Ellis was shooting really well in the beginning, and even Cody was hitting. I remember he hit a shot over the backboard. And it was just like, it was tough for us to get a lead early on.
I was impressed. Cody 9 for 10 from the free throw line. I mean, he got to the line 10 times. That's impressive as a whole. But like you said, you waste a lot more energy coming back than you do when you're ahead. And if you guys were able to get ahead in the first quarter, first half at all, then like you said, those second half runs would have just gassed them, would have been pulling the plug. Would have been like a 20-something point game, I think. So, I mean, I just think it's one of those games where they only had 4 guys. They knew they were going to be running a lot. They stayed with it. They played a pretty good defensive game, I would say.
Yeah, they definitely did.
I mean, they forced
us to struggle a lot.
Yeah, they forced you guys to struggle from the field, which you normally don't do. And I think a lot of that was at the rim.
Yeah, I felt like we weren't getting the benefit of the whistle, and I don't think that made the difference in the game. Obviously, it never really does. The refs do, but I think if you look at the numbers, we had 16 fouls, they had 6.
Yeah,
I just find it hard to believe that a team of only 4 guys playing the entire game
are only going to foul 6 times. Yeah,
yeah. We only got 2 free throws from the entire game too. So I think that was really interesting, and I think it could have made a difference, but.
Something to drink the tea to, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. You move on, and I mean, I just think it's an impressive game for them, and it's a game to improve on for you guys, without a doubt.
Yeah, definitely. We gotta play better. We gotta get ahead early on.
So now that we definitely get ahead early on. I mean, it's always good to get ahead early on. I mean,
I feel like we haven't had that really in these games against these good teams. Like we played Boom, I think we were down against them, or it was back and forth against Boom, but then against Swish 2, we just got down, and that just can't happen. So hopefully we'll try to improve on that against Lob in the coming weeks.
Yeah, or even just maybe after Lob.
Yeah, exactly.
Realistically, that's something to keep in mind for the end of the podcast. We got a little surprise for the listeners. But so I mean, we talked about your game and you guys lost, and that's a sour spot. But now we can talk about the halfway crooks and how this might have been a worse game from both teams, and we get to kind of rag on Joey a bit, and that's the opposite of a sour spot. So we'll just kind of we'll balance out the lows with the highs.
Yep.
And halfway crooks Duyes boys 57-42. I mean, and coming into this game, Joey was talking, oh my God, halfway crooks the second best team in the league. We finally have it. We finally have the talent. We finally have the size. And this one's close against this team that hasn't won a game and is probably going to end up in the bottom half of the power rankings.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Dujay boys, however you pronounce it, I'll forever pronounce it incorrectly, but
I won't correct it.
They probably feel a lot better about this game than other games walking away from it, even though they lost. It's definitely a better loss if there is such a thing as good loss, but it's definitely a better showing from them. And I know Joey told me that they struggled a lot from three. You look at it, they shot 6 for 33. So if they're attempting 33 threes.
Yeah, they keep
getting a lot of open
like
looks.
the Houston Rockets.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they just bad shot selection one.
I mean, they might have been good shots, just weren't falling. That's what Joey seemed to tell me. So they hit a few early on, and then it was just a struggle the rest of the game.
Yeah, but I mean, once you, in my opinion, and this doesn't have to do with the legacy leagues. This is all basketball. But if you're cold from three, no matter if they're good shots or bad shots, I mean, 6 of 33, stop taking them. If you're cold from three as a team, there is no reason for your team to put up 33 threes.
Yeah, that's a fair point. But would you say that the same thing to the Doogie boys who went 5 for 29 from three?
I mean, they have a lot more problems to work out.
Yeah.
Than just their 3-point shooting. If you look at, I mean, the one takeaway Joey said was the 3-pointers. I mean, that's what Hansen said in the interview after the game, was that they took too many threes. I mean, Brett Cody 0 for 9, Marikis 0 for 5. Joey, I mean, I'm sorry, Joey, I'm bringing up the stats. I'm just scrolling through. 1 for 8.
Yeah,
that's
a lot
not
of
good.
Poor shooting performances last week. I'll even throw myself in there. I was 1 for 8 from three, and you look at the Doogie boys too. They had Jordan Lugo was 0 for 8. So I mean, it looked like the Johnson Rex are tighten the rims that week.
Yeah, or Missoula. Maybe it was just no, nothing with Missoula. Maybe it was just like higher or lower. Yeah, we got to get. I feel like every week they're like a centimeter or two different, because nobody gets a tape measure out there. Like they just roll the rims down and look at Joey, and he's like, "Yep, looks good to me, guys."
I think there's something when they lower it on the side that they look at, but even still, it's just an eyeball.
Yeah, they don't do more than eyeball it, but I mean, it's fun to dunk.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think in that game, the biggest stat that stands out to me is that the halfway crooks had 48 rebounds.
Yeah.
Compared to 29 from the Duyes boys. I mean, I think the 3-point shooting, I mean, yeah, granted, it was an all-around cold game from both teams, all-around cold day from the whole league, unless you're Lob City. I think Lugo's threes will fall. He's 4 for 19 from the field. That's not going to be a number that's going to stay consistent. And Kutu's a consistent 20 points a night guy. I think if they can formulate some kind of strategy or purpose to their offense around him, I think they can figure it out and maybe be one of the better worst teams, if you know what I'm saying. Like that oxymoron.
And I think if you look, I mean, obviously say the 48 rebounds, but it looks like the Dujay's boys got most of their stops from steals. They had 12 steals in the game.
Yeah, 8 from Kutu.
Yeah, exactly. He won Player of the Week, as I mentioned.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you can get stops from getting steals, then obviously you're going to have less rebounds because, you know, it's just how.
Yeah, because it's not a missed shot. It's you're getting. Yeah. So that's all right.
That's interesting.
That is interesting. And 8 steals is huge. I think that's the second most I've seen since Banderi.
Yeah, I remember Banderi had 10 and a triple-double performance last season.
We should get him on here. He could be an interesting third voice.
Yeah.
Look him up. Yeah, see how his New Year's going.
Yeah,
all right, exactly. Moving on from that. We'll keep that thought in the back of the mind. So we got 2 more games to do. Skyhookers Pizza Rolls Boston Blazers, Alaskan Bullworms. We'll do the closer of the two blowouts.
Yeah.
Hooker's Pizza Rolls, 73-53. And, I mean, we were mentioning size. And Chase Allman just absolutely dominating these guys on the glass. I mean, on the he led them in points.
Yep.
And I think him and Brendan O'Donnell can be a really dominant duo in this league throughout the whole season.
Yeah, it was definitely nice to see O'Donnell with another sidekick who he can kind of dish off to more. Because I remember the first season he would take like 25 to 30 shots a game, and obviously they had some success, but it's easier when you have another scorer like Chase Allman who can put up 19 points on 60% shooting, and also grab boards. He grabbed 15 of them, which is impressive. And it was just because of his size. He was the biggest guy on the floor.
By far.
Yeah. But also I want to say the Pizza Roll seem they seem like they figured out something with Rocco Lombardi. He had 27 points. I was impressed with his game. I felt like I hadn't really seen anyone stand out on the Pizza Rolls until that game where he kind of went off and talked about it.
I'm pretty sure he was in the 20s last week too, but I know Rocco, he's from Cranston. He's a great player. He's got size.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of basketball IQ. He knows what to do with the ball. He knows how to finish, and he's a really skilled player. But the problem with the Pizza Rolls is you take his 27, you take Benjamin Floyd's 14, and you have 5 players combining for 12 points.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think that's where they're going to find some difficulty.
But Rocco could have had 50 points, and they would have only won by 3.
Yeah, that's true. But I will say this. I think I'm looking at the name Zachary Dionisio. I'm not really sure.
Dionisio,
yeah, and Anthony Barone. They seem like they have confidence shooting the 3. They both took 6 or 7 attempts. So I think that they understand where their position is because they seem like shooters. But the shots weren't falling for them. I think they had a few open looks that could have went in and would have kept the game close because it was actually somewhat close at halftime. It was only looking at 11-point game, or 9-point game for that matter. So I mean, they were in this game, and that third quarter killed them.
But, and I think it was just I didn't see it, but my guess is it's just the size because I've seen the Skyhookers
over time. The Skyhookers just kind of dominated this game little by little.
Yeah, even if it doesn't show. Even if it doesn't show on the box score in a certain stat because the rebounding margin was close, you just get tired by playing undersized. Yeah. And trust me, I played basketball through it till I was like 16, probably nothing to brag about, and really not a big resume, but I was short. And you get tired playing undersized. I mean, you're always looking up at the person you're defending or trying to drive against, and it's exhausting. Exactly. So that's probably a lot of what happened in that huge third quarter, like you said. Just put them out. And then this one, just an absolute terrible game. 95-37. I mean,
Blazers and Bullworms.
Yeah. It was close in the first quarter. I'm looking at it right here. But between the second quarter and the third quarter, the Bullworms scored 10 points only.
Yep. I was getting outscored 43-10 in those 2 quarters.
Oh, that's ugly.
And I mean, it's tough it's tough to score 4 points in a quarter. I remember that third quarter. They scored 2 points. I think they scored the first 2 points of the quarter and didn't score again until about a minute left in the quarter. Oh. And it wasn't even like they were taking bad shots. I felt like the Blazers had built a sizable lead at that point. So they were kind of just letting them shoot mid-range shots that they probably felt like they could have hit or open threes or whatever. And they just
weren't falling.
3 for 29 from 3 for the Bullworms. That's obviously tough. And I mean, the Blazers just had the speed, too much speed for the Bullworms too. I feel like they were running the floor, getting steals, and Corey Strickland, he's a really impressive player. And
he had
34 points on 6 of 8 from 3, 14 for 22 overall.
Yeah, he absolutely broke out. I mean, 34 points. I'm shocked he didn't win Player of the Week. I think it was the 8 steals that did it. But I mean, he stuffed the stat sheet. You had 34 points. You shot over 60%. You had 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals. And then Robert Boynton stuffed a stat sheet as well, and he shot even more impressive, 12 for 14. Yeah, exactly. And I think the thing is with Boynton was all of his shots were from the inside. 0 for 0 from 3. He did not attempt a 3. And that helps. That helps a lot. You had 3 players with double-doubles. They're just a dominant game, but
Yeah,
The one
55
stat.
rebounds.
Yeah, I was
55
just
to
about to
20
say,
on the rebounds was
took the words right out of my mouth.
yeah, but I think that's just due to like Bolton just missing a ton of shots. Like they
Yeah.
had 39 defensive rebounds and 16 offensive rebounds. So
Yeah, and when you miss, I'm going to do the math quickly in my head. It looks like 51. I think,
yep,
yeah, 51 shots. There's going to be a lot of rebounds.
And you look at the Blazers; they only missed 32 shots. It looks like if
They
my math
shot
is
it
correct.
76 times.
Yeah, they missed 32 shots and had 16 offensive rebounds. So that only means that half the time they were missing, they were grabbing their own rebound.
They had,
Which
if,
is unbelievable.
yeah, that's crazy, actually, that they grabbed half of their own misses. Talk about the outsizing again, 2 games in a row.
And only
But
3 turnovers too, which is
yeah,
really
if I'm
impressive.
looking at it, they had 3 turnovers and 76 field goal attempts. So that means they had 79 possessions. And they got off, what was it, 76 shots? That's crazy.
Yeah, and then again, I mean, obviously there's going to be some staggering stats when they win
95-37. Yeah, that's
58-point win. So
that's a crazy box score.
Yeah.
So
a really impressive game. The Blazers really, I wasn't sure if they were going to be like I thought they would be in the middle pack of the league. I think that's still the case, but this game really shows that they could probably beat some really good teams later in the season. If they get hot, if they have a hot night and other teams, and they know how to stifle other teams because they have a lot of size too for a team.
yeah, and they are a talented team. I mean, you have 4 guys scoring in double digits. 3 of them have double doubles, and the one guy without a double double has 34 points. So I mean, that shows that they can run with most of the teams in the league. I mean, granted, they did play the Bullworms, who have 1 win over the Pizza Rolls. I mean, no disrespect to them, but if the Blazers went out there and ran with the Swish Kebabs, and that was a very close game.
Yeah.
They didn't really do too well against Lob City in their first game, but I would be interested to see them against a team like Boom Shakalaka or against you guys or against the Halfway Crooks. That would be a very interesting game.
Well, that's a pretty good segue because in week 4 they do play Boom Shakalaka.
Oh, really?
Start talking about next week's games. Yeah.
I think that's going to be a great matchup. That might be game of the week.
I think that's definitely the game to look forward to next week.
That or Swish and Sky.
Yeah, Swish and Skyhookers might be interesting. I think Swish probably wins that, but it's gonna be interesting to see how the Skyhookers play against Swish because this I think is their first game against a real top tier team. I think. Because
I mean, they played Boom Shakalaka and lost week 1, but since then,
I think it'll be a similar result with Swish with it because I think Swish and Boom are probably pretty even at this point.
And I'm going to look at Swish's week 2 stats against the Blazers because I think the Blazers play kind of similar to the Skyhookers.
Yeah.
And if Platt only had 12 points, granted 33 is a factor of only having 4 players, but they had 5 guys in double figures. I mean, they can spread the wealth. Anybody can get you. I mean, you saw that the other night where Bell had 20 points, Platt had 33, Ellis had 11. So like, anybody can get you. Like you can get the work from anybody on that team. The Blazers have a couple of great scorers.
Yeah, and Corey had an off game against Swish.
Blazers have a couple of great scorers, and they were kind of shut down. I think the Skyhookers. I think Almond's going to have his hands full with Greg Bell, and I also think Greg Bell will have his hands full with Almond.
Yeah,
and I think it's going to be interesting to see how Barbosa and Platt go up against O'Donnell. But I do think, like you said, I think they have the advantage.
So yeah, I'm taking the Swish Kebabs in that game. The next game
should be good though.
Next to the 9:00 games are us versus Lob. I think obviously it's going to be a tough game for us to win, but I mean, hey, we just
even tougher now.
Yeah,
with the news that you might want to break as I kind of just segueing you into it.
Yeah, so an unfortunate news to break for us is that Dave Campbell has to leave our team because he's going to be playing college basketball, which is obviously good for him. And obviously we weren't mad. We were like, yeah, obviously if any of us had the opportunity to play at the higher level, we would take that over playing legacy leagues. No disrespect to Joey and his league, but it's it's not college level basketball.
Yeah. And best of luck to Dave. That's an
Yeah.
awesome opportunity, but just
Yeah, he was playing at Worcester State, and then he was taking the year off, and then he said that the coach wanted to come back and play, so he said, "Yeah, he's going to play." So
good for him.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's
Best
a good
of
player. So
great
obviously,
player.
we're happy for him. But
Yeah, you're happy
hopefully
for him, but
he'll
in the
come
end,
he'll
it
come
just
back in the summer and play with us. But we'll
that should
see.
be fun.
Yeah.
In the end, it stinks for you guys
Hmm.
because he was just such a. You always needed that third piece.
Yeah, he was really
We've been
breaking
talking
out and
about it forever.
he was breaking out and becoming a good player in this league. We were trying to get him 5th man of the year
Yeah,
or
I was just
rookie of
about
the
to say he
year.
was my
So.
vote. I was gonna put him on the All-Star team with you guys. You guys would have
Yeah.
had 3 All-Stars,
Hmm.
and that would have been pretty impressive. That would have been, I think, the first time in a while with
Yeah.
that. But
But yeah.
so
So.
now it just makes that matchup against Lob City so much harder. What do you guys need to do to keep it close? I mean, I said last year playing Lob City is like taking a really hard test or a really hard class, where if you keep it within 20 points, basically it's like a tie in my eyes as an analyst. So what do you do to so on keep it close with them?
So I think in past years we've had close games at halftime against Lob. But I think what happens is that just Cody usually ends up killing us, or the pace of the game ends up killing us. Or last year, I know Darius was the reason that really shut the door on us. So I think we gotta. I really don't know what the game plan is here now, but we have to get big games out of Brad because I feel like Brad has kind of had an underwhelming season so far.
I think
Um,
Connor matches up with Coro better than Brad does, in my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah,
Connor's
and
quick,
Connor, yeah,
he's long, he can defend at the perimeter, and he can kind of defend him on the drive.
hmm
And if he fouls him, he fouls him. I don't think Coro's the greatest free throw shooter there is on that
yeah.
team. He's probably one of the guys that you want to foul and want to send to the line.
I think if we let guys like Greg Holt shoot the ball, obviously Greg Holt is a good shooter, but he's not Cody. So I think if
Mm-hmm.
we let people like Greg kind of kill us from three, I'll have to guard Vic. So obviously I'm gonna hopefully hope Vic has an off night shooting, but I mean, yeah, it's definitely a tough team to match up against because they have weapons at every position and they trust each other really well. So like if someone's got to go, and then they're just gonna ride that guy until the next guy gets hot. So it's tough,
Yeah.
but.
So you've guarded Vic probably every time you've played them. What's
Mhm.
it like? He's such a good athlete, and he can kind
Yeah.
of get you anyway. He can shoot, he can drive, and he can pass. What's it like kind of trying to stop him?
I mean, actually, I think I've blocked him a few times, and I think he's got the best of me too. He's dunked on me a few times as well. But I think it's just fun as a competitor to guard like one of the top athletes in the league. But obviously, it sucks when he gets the last laugh and they win by 20 or whatever. But um, I like playing him because I think it's one of the biggest challenges as
Hmm.
someone
Yeah,
who's
it's like a
coming in.
measuring stick.
Yeah,
Just to
I
see
think
where you
usually
are with.
I play a little bit better when I know that I gotta play against someone who's as talented as Vic is.
Yeah, when the pressure's on, that's when
Mhm.
you shine. I
Exactly.
like that. So that should be. I'm kind of looking forward to see that, to see how you guys adjust to not having Dave, and to
Hmm.
see what you guys are like going up against Lob City. So I feel like there's a different feel to the Werewolves team this year, and that could stay with Dave gone. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a vibe, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Hopefully we'll keep the positive vibes.
So we
Um,
got
yeah.
next after that, or at the same time of that, just across the Johnston Rec Center,
Hmm.
we have Boom and the Blazers, and I think the Blazers have a good shot at kind of coming out.
Yeah. I like the
And
Blazers' odds of winning this game.
I wouldn't
Obviously,
say
boom.
they're favored if there were lines on this. I wouldn't say they're
Yeah.
favored at all.
I don't think so. Yeah, they're not.
But I do think that this is a great chance for them. I mean, if they lose by 3 points, they're like, hey, guys, we're here in the top tier of the league
Hmm.
fighting for second place, too. If
Yeah.
they win, they're like, hey, guys, we are here. We're competing. We're with, like, it's a great opportunity for the Blazers because I do think they are a very talented team.
I think the one matchup that you're gonna have to look for is like who Lucas is guarding because the Blazers have a lot of size,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be the same problem that we run into too with Gino guarding someone on their team because Gino and Lucas are very similar players, size wise, and I think it's just gonna be tough to find someone to match up with because the Blazers have quick guards, sizable guards. So I think it's gonna be interesting to see if the Blazers try and exploit that, or if they just kind of play their game and I don't know.
I think it's going to be interesting because I know D'Amico is a really good big for Boom Shakalaka, but after him, they really don't have much in their front court. And I mean, the Boston Blazers are a team that just pulled down 55 rebounds last week, so I think they may have somewhat of an advantage there. But in the end, I think you have an X factor like Lucas Martin that when he steps over half court, he's within range. And he can really change a game when he gets hot. He's a microwave. Exactly. So I think they have the advantage there. But that is my game to watch this week. If Joey's listening to this before he picks the game of the week, I think that's the game of the week.
I think if Boom wins, it's going to be because Cole Ferguson kind of breaks out and has like a 25-point game.
Really?
Really efficient. Yeah, I think he's just there's going to be some game that he just goes off for Boom because I know what he's capable of. And I think it could be this week.
Little breakout player of the week action when we used to do that. Cole Ferguson, that's your pick.
Yeah,
he's a good player. I like watching him play. That's gonna be interesting. I think he does have a good matchup there. But like you said, really sizable guards for Boston Blazers that could cause a lot of trouble to both Ferguson and Martin. And I think halfway Crooks, Alaskan Bullworms. I think that one is with the Crooks easily.
Yeah, I don't see Bullworms winning that one.
I think it's interesting that the halfway Crooks in their first 3 games. I mean, they were supposed to play Swish week 1, so we can't really say that. But they went Pizza Rolls, Duyer's Boys, Alaskan Bullworms.
It only gets tougher for them from there, then I guess.
Yeah, I mean, then they go right to Lob City.
Yeah.
But just gonna scratch my head at that they're gonna probably start 3-0. I don't want to jinx it, but they'll probably start 3-0. And Joey makes the schedule.
Doogie Boys and Pizza Rolls at 10 o'clock could be something to watch too.
I think the Duyer's Boys, if they can, I think Lombardi's going to get his. Yeah. Lombardi's going to score 20-something in this game. But if they can hold the rest of the team to what the rest of the team usually gets, which is like 10 and under, and Benjamin Floyd included, I think they have this one in the bag. And I think this is when you see the scorers for the Duyer's Boys other than John Kutu. I think this is where Robin steps up.
Yeah.
Because I think this is where someone's going to be like, all right, we're playing the Pizza Rolls. I think I can score. I know I can score against these guys, and the confidence is going to be there. And someone alongside Kutu, I can't even speak right now, is going to drop 20 plus. And I think the Duyer's Boys are going to finally get that first win.
But I also think the Pizza Rolls might have the same confidence too, because if you look at it, both teams are 0-3 going into this game. I think Pizza Rolls might. Some of those guys I mentioned, the shooters, come out and have some confidence, and they might have a good, unbelievable game for the Pizza Rolls. That might win this for them. I think John Kutu will be the best player on the floor for the Doogie Boys, and it's gonna be his job to get those guys involved and get them looks and win this game.
It's Kutu versus Lombardi. Yeah. In the end, it's gonna come down to which one of those players has a bigger game. But like you said, if the other players for the Pizza Rolls can step up, if they're other shooters, then the Duyer's Boys are going to have a rude awakening in this one. I know they're very confident going into it. They tweeted, "Can't wait for the 9th" or something like that. So they're looking forward. They're smelling their first win. They're finally playing a team that's not the Werewolves or the Halfway Crooks or Lob City. So I know they're excited for this one.
Yep.
So that wraps up the Week 4 preview. And now, I mean, it's the holiday season.
Yep.
I got the new basketball hoop up. 2K's going there. New presents. But Christmas is over. We're looking forward at New Year's. So we're going to break down every single team and their New Year's resolutions and what they need to do to be a better team in 2019. So we'll start with you.
Look at the standings. Look at the standings, and we'll just go top to bottom and kind of.
All right. You want to go bottom to top? Actually, that would make more sense.
All right. Yeah, we'll start there. So the bottom is the Pizza Rolls at 10. And I guess their New Year's resolution, in my opinion, would be probably to find a consistent 15-point scorer for them. I think
to go along with Rocco.
Yeah, I think that's got to be the resolution for them. And also just probably better quality shots, because you can't just shoot the first 3 that's open.
Yeah.
I know that they were doing that a lot, but I think if they find better shots, then they probably will have a better chance of winning these games because they'll have more possessions too.
I was going to say better shot selection should be their New Year's resolution. I mean, in 3 games, they have 13 assists. So
Yeah.
there's no shot clock. You can always move the ball around and find a better shot. You guys have, I mean, they're not the least scoring team because they've played one more game than the Swiss Kebabs and the Halfway Crooks, but they're close.
Mhm.
And I think Lombardi's great. You keep doing what you're doing in 2019. Someone else step up and be consistent, like you said. That's that for them. Who's next? The Duyes boys?
Duyes boys, yeah.
I think it's more of the same.
Yeah, I think similar sauce for them.
I think they need to ditch the three, really. I mean, you saw the last game, Lugo 0 for 8, not shooting very well. They're 5 for 29, I think it was. I don't have it right in front of me now.
Yeah,
but, I mean, ditch the three. A lot of them are coming off of dribble moves. They're not coming off of the pass. They're not coming off of the catch and shoot. They're not open looks. They're contested. And even if they are open, there's a better look to be had. So ditch the three, get a better look. Once the twos start falling, that's when you can step back and hit the three when they're adjusting to your inside game. That's my resolution for them.
Yeah, maybe not ditch the three entirely, but make the three.
Make it your secondary game.
Yeah, exactly.
I know threes are worth more than two, but that only really works if you're a good 3-point shooting team.
You know.
Yeah, like that only works. That only makes sense when Cody Crawford says it.
Yeah. So next.
So the next are you guys actually?
Us at 8, 1 and 2. I think our resolution is just going to be to find some consistency scoring the ball, because I think we've had some good shooting games and some poor shooting games. We need to find more consistency with that. I think, because I mean we're scoring about 60 points a game probably, and
that's not going to cut it.
Yeah, well, it is, but our defense needs to tighten up a little bit, and we need to play at a pace that makes us score 60. So it's 60 to 50, not 60 to 70.
I agree with the consistency, because you guys have some really great possessions and you guys have some really bad possessions. And I would say just moving the ball with purpose. Everything you guys should do, like shoot it. There should be a reason for every pick you set, every route you run, every pass you guys make. And I feel like sometimes you guys just move the ball to move the ball, or swing it to swing it, or shoot it to shoot it. And I think just having better possessions and more consistent possessions would be huge for you guys, especially with Dave gone.
Yeah. We gotta find something that'll work without having Dave in the lineup anymore. So
I think Connor is your most impressive player that could get that could impact
most to be a really good player. So we just got to utilize that more.
Yeah. So next is the Bullworms.
Yep.
And I would say for them, I got to pull up their stats.
I would say for them,
they need to get out and run more.
Yeah, they do play a lot of half-court offense, and they are pretty efficient, I feel like, in the half-court. Like, I don't remember. It wasn't this week against the Blazers, but it was the week before. I think it might have been against the Skyhookers, where they kind of just were able to move the ball and take a lot of time on offense in the half-court, and it ended up working most of the time. But I think they need to utilize the fast break a little bit more and get out and run when they can.
Yeah, and turn your defense into offense. I mean, they can be a very good defensive team, and if they can get out and run, they can tire a lot of teams out. They have a very deep bench, and that could benefit them a lot. That could really move them up into the middle of the pack. Next is the Blazers. I think they're right there.
I think they just need to keep doing what they're doing. That's their resolution. Keep playing the same way, because they're there. They're 1 and 2, but I think that they've shown a lot of signs so far that they can be a really good team in the league. So,
yeah, I think with the Boston Blazers, it's all about just finding the spark and keeping the fire lit. And they found that spark. I think they, exactly like you said, just keep doing what you're doing. They're gonna figure it out. They have figured it out, and they just need a couple more good games, I think, and then they'll consistently be a team to watch out for in the league.
Exactly.
Next up is Boom Shakalaka. And I think for them, I think you need better possessions. I mean, a lot of your possessions are one pass and either a drive or a shot. And I think for them, you have a lot of great talent on that team. You have Lucas, you have Cole, you have Trevor. I mean, it's not up there with Lucas and Stitchell. I mean, not Trevor. I always say it's Jeremy.
Yeah.
You have Lucas, you have Cole, and you have D'Amico. It's not up there with Trevor and Stitchell and Lucas, but still 3 great players in this league, 3 all-star caliber players that aren't being utilized to the best of their ability. And I think just kind of like with you guys with the Werewolves, move with purpose and offense.
That's probably a fair assessment of them.
Yeah, I think they could improve their just their quality of possessions, and then they will be fine. They have size, they have a shooter, they have someone who can drive, someone who can slash, and they have an athletic bench. I think they will be fine.
Yeah,
Skyhookers next.
For them, I would say they gotta. I think they gotta utilize like pick and rolls with Almond and O'Donnell a little bit more. So they kind of just force feed Almond into the post, and I'm sure he's a good player in the post. But I think if they ran a pick and roll with that, it would be really tough to guard because I know O'Donnell's a really crafty finisher.
Yeah.
So I think that would be something they can look at.
And I think I agree with you. All they really do is just dump. Either O'Donnell is driving it to the lane or they're dumping it into Almond in the post. And that's worked the last 2 weeks where they've gotten 2 wins, but they've also played smaller opponents. So you need to utilize a little bit more motion between your 2 star players, O'Donnell and Almond, when you play against better teams. I think we're going to see that against Boom Shakalaka on the 9th. But in 2019, I would like to see, like you said, more pick and roll, more motion between Almond and O'Donnell, more plays set up where they're both involved and they are the number 1 and number 2 players involved.
Yeah.
Next up, now we're getting to the top. Halfway Crooks. Cut Joey Zacco. No, I'm just kidding. No. But I think for the halfway Crooks is, I think the last game said it all. Just smarter shots.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of their shots when they weren't missing threes. What?
If the three's not falling, you got to try and find something else.
Yeah, when they weren't missing threes, they were driving to the lane and they were. I remember Brett Cody missed 2 terrible dunks that he tried to put up over people when he probably. I mean, he's a good enough player to finish over them smooth with a layup or a finger roll. So I think just smarter shots, relax, know that they outsize most players, and just play their game. I mean, the halfway Crooks have had a consistent game plan, game strategy over the past couple of years. Play that. Once you fit Brett Cody into that, you will be golden. Next is Lob City.
Yeah.
For some reason are second in the standings, but really
they're all tied.
First. Yeah, they're number 1.
Tied for first, yeah.
But they are. If the season ends today, they're my 1 seed.
Yeah.
But Lob City, I don't think there is a
for them.
New Year's resolution for them.
Actually, I would recommend they play a little bit worse on the 9th than they play.
Yeah, my New Year's resolution for Lob City is make it a little more interesting. Kind of tone it down a bit. Act like there's a draft next year and you want a really high pick.
Yeah, they should tank.
They should. It would be a great story. Like I don't think we've had a 7, an 8, a 6 seed win, like from Connecticut or Rhode Island.
Rhode Island, the finals have all been 1-2 seeds.
Yeah, I mean, if Lob City could just tank, get a terrible seed, and then win as a terrible seed, I mean, it would be a great story. That's just. But no, realistically, New Year's resolution, Lob City is.
It'd be like the Warriors fall into like a 5 seed, and then people would still be taking them to win it all, anyways.
Yeah, no matter what seed Lob City is, they're my favorite to win. They have no resolution on New Year's. They're perfect. They are the perfect Legacy Leagues team. And then the Swish Kebabs, I would say they have a very talented backcourt between Barbosa and Cody Platt. But the one game that they played together, it was inefficient. And so I think they need
make that work.
They need to find some rhythm between Barbosa and Platt because they both can go for 20 a game easily.
Yeah, they need to find a balance between the 2.
So I think that'll be interesting to see as they play more. And that is the New Year's resolutions from the Low Post podcast. And I think that wraps up the Low Post podcast. Any last final thoughts, final takes, final comments?
Break so long, but it is what it is. I'm excited to get back out in a few weeks.
But, I miss it.
Yeah, it's definitely weird to have a few week break for a basketball league, but oh well.
Yeah, I actually had to work with kids this Wednesday. It wasn't that fun, but this was the Low Post podcast. We will see you guys on January 9th at the Bryan Rec Center, at the Johnston Rec Center from Brian Heston and Tyler Cruz. We are signing off. Build your legacy.